Okay, so hey everyone, I am Harshal Jain, and today we are gonna finish our blog project. So in this project, we almost did everything. We covered all the API part as well as the front end part was also covered. We just have to change some stylings of the front end part, and add block form was almost completed. We just have to save the data and things like that. Winky, hello sir, how are you? अरे बहुत दुख दर्द में हूँ. तुम लोग बताओ कैसे हो? एग्जॉस्ट हो गया यार, आज बहुत सारे सेशन थे ना. सुलेमान, हेलो हेलो सुलेमान, कैसे हो? चलो, let's begin. And in last video what we have covered was, first of all, here you can see we were getting the categories in this page. I was about to actually finish this. Okay, sir, protected routes. What about protected routes? Okay, so what we did was we created a function to push paragraphs into our blog array, a blog object. Okay, blog object would be having a paragraph array. Okay, this is the blog object. I'm passing my paragraphs again and again. Okay, that's what we did yesterday. Now we are gonna continue with the delete paragraph and different kind of things. Okay, first of all, now you have pushed the paragraph, so I want to show some paragraphs which I have written into this page. Okay, so for that, what we can do is we can simply create a very basic layout. Inside that, I'm gonna call my paragraph array, which I have saved inside my blogs, so that we can see what paragraphs we have saved before. Let's do it. Okay, so let me just first of all open this. So what I'll do is I'll just start the front end as well as the back end. So I'll just open this in integrated terminal. Okay, and I'll just type nodemon. Okay, ठीक है. I've started this, and let's wait for the database to connect. Please हो जाए यार. Sometimes it takes time, definitely, so you have to wait for this. And similarly, let's go to the front end, and I'll just type cd blog. क्या हो गया? Now it's fine. Okay, so I'll just type npm run dev. Right, so let's start with the front end. Okay, so front end is there, back end is also here. You can see back end is here, but the connection timed out. यार ऐसा नहीं किया करो. So connection is trying to reestablish again. Okay, now it's connected to database. Sometimes you might see this error. Refresh and you would, the error would be gone. Okay, you can't do anything. MongoDB sometimes fails. Okay, so now we have things in the front end. What we did was, let's try to visit this URL. And you would see we have a page something like this. Okay guys, first of all, I wanna say that if you are in add block page, okay, if you are in add block page, so first of all, if you are not logged in, we are asked to log in. Okay, so let's log in. So we're at j014@gmail.com at j123. Okay, if I log in, you would see now I'm logged in. If I click on add blogs, you can see now I'm inside this form. So what actually happens is, whenever you save the paragraph, so whenever you save any paragraph, you are not uploading a paragraph, you are adding the paragraph into blogs array. Once you have added all the paragraphs, once you have added all the details, then you're gonna click the final button, that is submit button, which simply means you want to save the data to database. So first of all, I'm gonna say that whatever things you're gonna add, I'm gonna show that in between this. Okay, so let's do that. So for that, I'm gonna create a layout in blog. Can just first of all close all. Okay, now in src we have app, we have pages, add blog, page.tsx. Here you can see we had blog categories, blog description, and we had the paragraph. Above this, I'm gonna show my added paragraphs. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so before continuing, प्लीज़ लाइक वाइक कर दिया करो यार, तुम लोग लाइक नहीं करते हो. ओके, सो प्लीज़ लाइक कर दिया करो. and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And in the live chat you have a pinned comment, okay, about a course named as full stack for MERN stack. Okay, it's actually for MERN stack. It's a full stack course. It's a paid course, so if you want to purchase a MERN stack course at Geeks for Geeks, you can go for that link. You can also find the same link in description. All right, so now let's continue. So here we're gonna make a layout for showing the previous added paragraphs. Okay, so for getting previous added paragraphs, I'll just say let's create a div tag, very basic div tag, which will show me the paragraphs. Okay, so I'll just say we have a division. I'll just name it as blog temp paragraphs. Okay, I'll just name it as blog temp paragraphs. Okay, and we're gonna add some style to it later on. Right now we have this paragraph. Now we're gonna map the paragraphs which we have saved inside the blog object, right? The blog object contains all the fields. Similarly, it would be containing paragraphs. Okay, so we are just gonna show our paragraphs. आदित्य चंद्र, राम राम जी, राम राम साजाने। आज हमारा ब्लॉग ऐप का डे 6वां दिन। आज हमने खाई रोटी, रोटी के बाद हमारे सपाटे। It's very like feels good to see something like this. Okay, and I think, अरे भाई क्या हो गया after this? यार ये brackets खराब है यार. Let me just fix the brackets. Okay, so first of all we have this bracket. Okay, inside this we have the block paragraphs. We are just mapping block paragraphs and we are sorting block paragraphs. In what format are we sorting block paragraphs? I'll just explain you later on, but just write it this way. Okay, so yeah, we have to close it, close it, and rest everything is fine. Okay, rest everything is fine. Now here you have to say that we have a division. Remember one thing, when we were saving the block, when we were saving the block, we were adding one field named as created at, as well as we are adding one more field, that is position. I'll just explain the logic in short because this is going to be very important. So let me just open whiteboard and I'll just explain it a few seconds. Okay, where is my smart pen? Pen गुम हो गया यार. Okay, anyways. Alright, so guys, here I'm gonna draw something. So what actually happens is you have one thing which is created at. So I'll just name it as C because I can't write that much. And you have one more thing named as position. So what actually happens is, suppose you have one blog, you have blog 1, okay, which has position as 2. That means I want to show it at second position. Suppose I have created another blog, I want to show it at the top. At the top means I want to show it at the position 1. Now after this, suppose I change my mind and I want to add one more blog, but I want to show this blog in second position. So I'll just write 2 here. Okay, I want to show it in second position, so I'll say position as 2. But now the problem is, this is also position 2, this is also position 2. So what's the logic here? So you can see this was the old position 2, this is the new position 2. So what actually happens is, if I talk about new position 2, it must be shown above old position 2. Okay, position 1, new position 2, and old position 2. How will I judge that? I'll simply say its C is bigger. That means created at is bigger. That means this is created recently. So I would show it like this. Like one would be, obviously my priority would be, first of all, it would be sorted in this way: 1, 2, 2, and this would be like, now I'm confused which two position would be shown like this. For example, let's name it as B1. Okay, B1, block 2, okay, and block 3. Okay, so you know that block 1 is here, but which one is block 2 among these two? Okay, this is also 2, this position is also 2. So block 2 actually it's block 2. Okay, so block 2 is actually shown at the top. Now I'm confused which one is block 1 and which one is block 3 apart from these two. Okay, so this is, let's change the color here, and I'll just say apart from these two, either this can be block 1 or block 3. Similarly, this can be block 1 and block 3. So my first priority of showing data is I want to show position 1 at top, so position 1 will be at top. But if you have same positions, you are gonna compare these two same positions. If you have same position, you are gonna compare these two by simply comparing that created date. Okay, so for example, you created block 3 at last, that means recently. So in second position, you would be showing block 3. You created block 1 at last, so you'll be showing block 1 at last. Very simple, very simple. Okay, so that's the logic. If you have same position, you're gonna use created at value. That's why we created two values for it. Okay, a position match, then check the time. Yes, exactly. Okay, so we could have done one more thing, that is shift the indexes, but that's a long procedure and I think it's easier, just use the easy logic here. Okay, so these two fields are important, created at as well as position. Okay, so we're gonna use the same logic in sorting. That's it. Now let's talk about sorting. So sorting, I'll be creating a sorting paragraph method. Okay, I'll be creating a sorting paragraph method, and that will be that would be actually used for sorting the paragraph. So I'll just say that sorting paragraph would be called here. Okay, and I'll just say that if you want to sort, if you want to check between two different objects, there are two objects of paragraphs. If you want to make comparison, my first priority would be what? Positions. If positions match, then I would match what? The date created at. Okay, so that's the logic. So I'll simply say that if they match, okay, if they match, if the position match, then I'm simply gonna return the latest one first, then the last one. Okay, if the positions match. If the positions don't match, then I'm simply gonna say return the lesser position. Okay, return the lesser position. That's what I'm comparing. By default you would get things in ascending order, so you don't have to write it here. Here I'm just making it in descending order. That means bigger value, bigger time will be shown at first. Okay, smaller time will be shown at last. Similarly here, smaller position will be shown at first, bigger position will be shown at last. Okay, that's it. But this only applies when positions are same. Okay, so that's how sort would work. And I think there is some type issue. Anyways, this is a warning. If I get time, I'll fix that also. But yeah, you can work with it. So you can see we have sort paragraphs done. So once sort paragraph is done, here you can see everything is fine. So what actually happens is paragraphs array would be called inside the sort method, automatically sort paragraph would be called, and inside this automatically these parameters would be sent. Okay, that means two blocks at a time would be sent for comparison. That's it. So now everything is done. This is an inbuilt method, sort method is inbuilt, and I have just passed the function here directly instead of writing the whole code here. Okay, and then you can see we have called a map here. So now I'm gonna just map my values here. Okay, very easily. So for mapping the values, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna return the data here. Okay, so for returning the data, we can say actually we are using this circular brackets. Okay, so we don't need to return data, we can directly write it this way. Okay, so now you can see it's fine. So I'm simply taking key as what? Key as what? Created at. Instead of that, you can also take index as string, index as the key also. Okay, so you can provide a parameter as index. By default, whenever you map, you get index parameter also. That means 0 1 2 3 4, whatever objects you have. Okay, and here you can see instead of this you have indexes. Okay, you can follow any method, it's up to you. So this is totally up to you. Okay, and but I would say just go for date, it would be easy. Okay, so you can see I'm just saying that the key for this is date. Whenever you are mapping, you have to pass it this way, right? So you have just mapped, and now you have to simply, I would just say that first of all I'm gonna show an icon for deleting. Okay, for deleting the paragraph. Okay, so I've just called an art icon here, and you can see I have imported it here from React icons. Okay, so we were using React icons from the first video, so we have used React icons. Now after this we'll create a division for section 1. it would be containing what, our paragraph title and description, which we have just added. Okay, so this is temporary unless we save data to database. Until we'll see our paragraphs added. I'll just show you how things happen. Right now you know this. Okay, and also one more thing, that is we are gonna show the image also. So I'll just say that image, if image exists, that means I'm talking about the file. Okay, here I'm just mentioning the file. I think this is for the file. Yes, I'm just mentioning the file, and I've just converted the file to a URL. Okay, file to a URL, and it would be shown as a SRC. Whenever you are showing an SRC, you have to first of all convert a file to a URL. Okay, that's how it's converted, and you're saying that temporary text is this. Okay, now I think it would work, and instead of that I must have used some other tag, that is the image tag from Next.js. Anyways, img tag would also work. I can change that later on also. Let's, okay, let it be img tag. Instead of that, you can use Next.js image tag also. So right now you can see we have added this. Now let's try to test it, if it looks or not, if it looks good or not. Okay, so right now you can see we are automatically logged out. So let's log in at J123. I'll log in. You can see now we're getting the logout button, as well as if I go here, and you can see you're getting enter block title. So I'll just say my title is what, my title is something, my category is something, my description is something. Choose a file, so I'll just choose my photo. Okay, smart guy. So I'll just say my position, initial position, I would set it as one, and you can choose a title, description, and again some image. Okay, so I'll just say that I have this blog image. Okay, if I add to paragraph, now you would see that we have this. Okay, similarly, if I add something else, by default the position would be updated. Suppose I again write one. Okay, again I write one, and now if I write something else, okay, you can see I'm writing some other title. You can see this was the previous title, I'm writing a new title which is bigger. Okay, let's see which one would be shown at first. So again I would just say let's choose some different image. Okay, now if I click on add to paragraph, now you would see that the recent one would be shown first. Okay, don't worry about the style, but you can see recent one is shown first because of the logic which we have applied in the sorting part. Okay, I hope you got the logic. Let's style this first. Looks ugly. Okay, अरे भाई अब तू क्लोज हो जा. Okay, let's close this. Now let's style this. So for styling it, I'm gonna just say we have to you can see I've just given them some class names. Okay, you can see we have given them some class names. So I'll just go to the styles. In add block.css, I'm gonna write some styles. Okay, I'm not gonna waste my time in stylings, but I'll just show you what are the stylings. You can see I've just first of all targeted block temp paragraphs. Then inside that we targeted the first division, which would contain only the text. Then I've targeted the h1 tag. Then I've targeted the p tag. Then I've targeted the image. Okay, img tag. Then I've targeted the close button which I have created. Okay, so after some tweaks, if I try to add something, okay, position would be supposed to, title would be something, description would be something. If I click add, you can see it looks like this. Okay, it looks like this. We can fix some padding also later on, but anyway, so I'll add one more. This time let's suppose we choose a file, so my photo, add paragraph. So you can see right now these things are added temporarily. We are not saving data to database. Why we are not saving? Because if someone don't like this, they can actually delete this. Right now delete is not working because we haven't completed the delete paragraph logic, but you know, if I don't like this paragraph, I can actually delete this. If I want to add a new paragraph in some top position, I can definitely do that by simply typing the position. The latest one would be shown at the top. It's very easy, right? So now let's do that. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna right. So now what we are going to do is we are going to complete our delete logic. Okay, so you can see delete paragraph was called once we click the close button, right? So now let's talk about this. So whatever paragraph do we have, we just want to delete it from our array of paragraphs which is available inside the blogs. Okay, so for that we simply say just target the blog object. Inside the blog object we are going to target our paragraph array. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We'll simply filter that blog that paragraph, I'm sorry, it will simply filter that paragraph whose date matches with the clicked paragraph. Okay, so from our blog array, from our blog object, we are finding all the paragraphs first of all, and from that I'm removing that paragraph which matches with the clicked one. That's it. And now I'm gonna refetch the blocks. That means again pass this updated paragraphs to this. Okay, that's it. So we are just updating the paragraphs, and then we are gonna again passing it with the old values of the block, and the paragraphs are replaced. Okay, new paragraphs are just added. So now let's try to work on this. So now if I click on this, you can see now it's deleted, similarly deleted. Okay, working perfectly. You can see it works perfectly. Okay, so now the delete logic is also done. Delete logic is also done. Sorting logic is also done. Now let's talk about the upload image logic. Okay, so actually upload image logic would be after that. Let's first of all complete one logic, that is here itself. I'm gonna create a function. Okay, I'm gonna create a function. This function would be used for uploading the image. First of all, you would be uploading the image. Okay, first of all, you would be uploading the image, then you would be saving the blog, because once you upload the image, you would be getting the URL, you'll be saving that URL into the database. Okay, so uploading is important. First you'll upload, then you'll get the data into database. So this is the first priority. Upload, actually sorry, its name is upload image as well as upload block. So I'll just copy paste. Okay, so the name of this function would be upload image. You can use this function anywhere, by the way, you can use this function anywhere to upload the image. And we have created backend logic also. So let's talk about upload image. So first of all, what will happen, the user would give this an input. This function would receive a parameter of image. It would be of type file. Okay, we'll be sending a file, we won't be sending a URL. Okay, just remember we are sending a file. Now we'll be calling try catch cases here, very important. Try and catch. And in last video we actually created an API for uploading image, so we're just gonna call that. And we created a form data and I just append the my image with the file. Okay, this was the variable which we were taking in the backend, right? So we just added it. Now we're just gonna say call this API along with this form data, method is post. Okay, if you are using cookies to check, so for that you're gonna use include credentials. Okay, but right now we don't need to check cookies for uploading images. But if you are too much secure, if you don't want the user to like post image unless they are logged in, so you have to check for cookies first of all. Okay, so you can pass include credentials true, and then in the backend you can pass the middleware for checking authentication. Okay, around right now we have everything, so we're just gonna skip with this. Okay, so here I'm just gonna say that if response is okay, I'm just gonna return the image URL. If response is not okay, I'm just gonna say that error would be given. Okay, so if response is okay, I'm just gonna return the image URL. Okay, so from backend we have applied the logic, we just have to give the response, and from data we have the image URL. Okay, so that's what we covered from the backend. We built a API like this from the backend, and as a response I'm just sending the image URL. This was done in last video. Okay, so now I have the image URL. I can actually call this for any type of file now, not just only this blog page, any page. Okay, I can call this function anywhere. Okay, by just providing the file name, sorry, by just providing the file as a parameter to this function, I'll get the image URL as a response. Okay, that's what the function does. So you can use this function anywhere you like. Okay, now in upload blog, first of all I would say check login. Okay, just check login. Before uploading blog, I would just ask the user that if they are logged in or not, so that my data would be saved. Okay, if I just accidentally upload the data, then I came to know that the user is not logged in, that isn't fair, right? So first of all, check login would be called. So I think check login is fine. Let me just check. Yes, I think the check login function is fine. Still I would just replace with my function, because I think I might have made some changes. Okay, so you can see first of all it checks login. It would just send the cookies of our token, refresh token. If they are expired, then we would get an error. Okay, or if they are not expired, we won't get any error. Okay, so I'll just save it like this. Okay, instead of this you can use router also. Okay, use router from Next.js and import it from Next.js navigation. Okay, so if you want to use router, you can use router also. Right now I'm just passing it is this way. Okay, so If everything is fine, then I don't need to do anything, so I've just left it empty. So you don't need to do anything, okay? But yeah, if there is an error, so it would directly send the user to sign in page without doing anything, because the user is not logged in, they can't upload the block, okay? So that's the logic. So now in upload block, I first of all check that the user is logged in or not. Why I have to check user is logged in? Because when you are uploading the block, you need the owner ID, right? Who is the owner? So I must be logged in to become the owner, okay? So for that, we are first of all checking the login. Then we are checking that if we have block title description fields. If they are not, then we'll get this error, okay? Yeah, you can actually give a toast instead. Okay, fine. We are just giving a toast instead. Now, if everything is true, if everything is fine, so we're just gonna say that our temporary block variable would be created, would be storing the block hook which we created. Okay, that means it would be storing the block object, complete object with the all fields which you have stored in the form. It would be containing that. Now we have all the fields. First of all, from all the fields, you know that right now we haven't uploaded the images. First of all, first image which you would upload is the blog image. Okay, you would upload the blog image. You would simply check if blog image is there. If it's not null, you would upload the image and store it inside this variable. So I'm uploading the blog image. This is a file. This is a file I'm taking from the form. I've uploaded it, and as a response, I get a URL. So I'll just pass this to the URL field of my object. You can see this was my object, and it has image URL field. Okay, what I'm saying is just take the image, upload it, and store it in the image URL field. So you will get the URL here in the form of string. Right, that's the logic. And now first we uploaded the blog image. Now what else is remaining? We need to upload the paragraph images also. Okay, so for paragraph images, we're just gonna say that for loop, and again you will say first of all upload the paragraph image. So I'll just say whatever is the specific paragraph I'm talking about, upload that image. I'll get the URL for that image. Now in that specific paragraph, just replace that with the image URL. Okay, just replace that with the image URL. So I'll just say that if we have this, I'll just simply say, actually first of all I got the image. Okay, then I simply check if the image exists, then I'll upload the image, then I'll replace it with the image URL. Okay, so whatever URL I get as a response, I'll just pass that URL to my paragraph object. This would happen for all paragraphs. That's why I've created the for loop. That's it. Now you have uploaded all the images. You have just passed all the image URLs. Okay, you have converted all the image URLs. Everything is fine. You have uploaded the image. Now you don't need to upload any media, right? So you can simply call the call what call this API, okay, to upload. Okay, so this is the upload API which we have created. Method post credentials include, because we are gonna pass cookies also automatically. If you write credentials include, it simply means we are passing cookies also. If anyone faces issue in the cookie part, you might be missing this. Okay, credentials include, very important. And in the body you are just passing this. That's the API which we created, I think the second or third video, so you can rewatch those if you don't know. And if you don't have the backend, you can check out my GitHub repository. At the end of this video I'll share the code also, don't worry. Now if everything is fine, that means the blog is uploaded successfully. So I'm just gonna say that if response is okay, I'm simply saying blog post created successfully. Okay, and if response is not successful, that means okay is false, so you would simply say failed to create a. So from backend we are just sending a okay parameter true as true or false. So if it's true, we are simply sending this. If it's false, we are simply sending this. Okay, so this API was totally created in past videos, you can check those, right? So the blog is also uploaded. Now let's try to work on this. So guys, one more thing, I'm gonna add a parameter named as set loading. Okay, set loading is important because whenever data is uploading, I'm going to say show a loading animation. So I'm just gonna say here, set loading as true, because first you don't need to check. Okay, first you don't need to check. You can add it for check login also, but we don't need to check. We can simply first of all say whenever you have everything fine, you're gonna start loading. First of all image upload, then everything is uploaded, then after that I'll make the loading as false. Whenever the loading is true, I'll show a loading animation. Okay, that's the logic. So for showing the loading animation, we are actually gonna use React spinners. Okay, you can search more about React spinners, but right now I've just imported it, and you can just download it. Like you can just simply search for npm React spinners, you will find it. Okay, so that's the easiest method. You simply have to import it. First of all, you have to download it, then you have to import it this way. Okay, just import it this way, then you can use it anywhere. So I'm gonna use it at the top. I'm gonna use it here. Okay, so at the top, I'm just gonna say that we have a loading animation whenever loading is equal to true. So I'm just gonna say whenever loading is equal to true, just created a div which would occupy the complete page. And here you can see I've just passed this loader. Okay, so let's talk about the loader full page. So I'll just paste it in loader dot like in global.css. Okay, I'm just paste this. So you can see I've already pasted this. It would take the complete space. That means it would take the complete whole space. Okay, height would be this. It would be fixed. That means if you scroll, even if you scroll, the page won't move, and everything would be in center. That means the loading animation would be in center of this page. Okay, that's what we did here, and everything is fine. And I think I have created loading hook here also. You can see we have loading hook here also. Okay, everything is fine. Now let's try to use this. So what will we do is, first of all, you have to sign in. Okay, so I'll just go to viraj014 at j123. Actually, I passed login. After every 10 minutes the odd token would expire, and after 20 minutes the other token would expire. So you have to log in, sign in again and again after 20 minutes. Okay, so now let's create a blog. I'll just say my blog, and let's give it some time. Okay, so I'll just say 20:39, so that we know that this was the time when we uploaded it. Okay, and let's say it's for technology trends, and let's say this is some description. Okay, this is some description. Now we're gonna add a blog image. So let's say I'm gonna choose some good image. Okay, so let's say we have this image. Okay, I'm just choosing this image. If I click OK, okay, this is just some sample UI for next projects. Okay, so I've just picked that image. I'll just say position 1. Title would be intro. Okay, anything, and some description. Then some choose some other file for the blog. So I'll just pick my photo. Actually, let's provide some proper data. Okay, so I'll just go to lorem ipsum. Let's go to here, and we're gonna provide some proper data. Okay, so it looks good later on. So you're gonna provide this data, and similarly in some description also you're gonna provide some good description here. Okay, so this is the description and everything is fine. Now if I click add paragraph, you can see this paragraph is added like this. Similarly, position is updated. Now I'll just say that installation. Okay, and then again also I'm gonna add some paragraphs with some other image. Let's pick some other image, like I'll pick my other image. Okay, I look smart in every image, by the way, you can see. Okay, right. So now if I click on submit, it's taking some time, I guess. Let's wait. Okay, I think we did one mistake, that is we didn't call the upload block function. Very embarrassing. Okay, so we have to call that also. Okay, just a minute. So we'll just say whenever someone clicks on submit. Okay, here itself I'll just call this. I'll just say whenever someone clicks on it, I'll just call the upload block. I think the name is different somewhere. Let's see what the name is actually. Yeah, fine. Now it will work. Okay, sorry, wasted the time. Anyways, so let's say, let's give a title. Okay, Harshal Jain, the billionaire. No, yeah, something else. Okay, the mentor. Okay, better, the mentor or the freelancer. Freelancer sounds good. Okay, nowadays we have a series out of it, so it feels good too. be a freelancer also. Okay, fine. So let's pick some image. So I'm just gonna pick my image, position 1, title, intro, paragraph, image. So I'll pick my image, this one, add paragraph. Now let's add something else. So I'll just say intro, and then I'll just say skills. Okay, something else. Okay, then I'm gonna add another paragraph. Let's add something else. Okay, so let's pick this paragraph this time. Okay, and now I'm just gonna pick some other image. So I'll just say that suppose this is the image which I'm selecting, or this is the image which I'm selecting. Okay, add paragraph. So now you can see I have two paragraphs along with this. So you can delete the paragraph and re-add the paragraphs as per your requirement. You can also change the style also, but I have just given it a very basic style. Now let's click on submit. क्या हो गया भाई? कौन empty रह गया? कौन empty रह गया? So I have to check which field is empty. Just a minute. So whenever you are uploading a blog, you are simply checking is the title, description and category there or not. Okay, so let's see. So the problem here is, okay, so we have to add the things here also. Okay, you haven't added the modifying fields. Okay, so you have to add the modifying fields here also. I forgot to add the fields here. So you have to first of all talk about the blog name. Okay, I'm gonna add the blog name here. Okay, it would have this method. I forgot to add this. Similarly, category. Similarly, you're gonna have the description. Similarly, you are gonna have the image. Okay, so similarly you're gonna have the image. Now everything is fine, so you can see it's fine. And unfortunately, do this again. Okay, so let's write the title again. Finally it would be uploaded. Okay, Harshal Jain, the mentor. Okay, the mentor. Let's pick something, and then I'm gonna say we have some description and the paragraphs are fine. Now let's try to submit. So you can see now we get this animation. This animation is actually coming from failed to create the blog post. Okay, let me just check what's the error here. Guys, I'm getting an error here, failed to create the blog post. Why we are getting the error? Because response is not okay from backend. Why the response is not okay? So I'll just print the response also. So this is very important. I'll just type console.log response. Okay, let's try to do this again. Hopefully the data is not gone. So now if I try to submit, can see everything is fine. Problem here is internal server error. Okay, I think the server might have crashed. Let's see. Blog validation failed. Okay, so there is some issue with this. So you can see image URL is required. Image URL is required, but you are not providing the image URL. Why we are not providing the image URL? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so here what we do is we simply send the image URL. Okay, you are selecting it. So just before uploading, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna print the blog first of all. Just before uploading, I'm just gonna print the blog. So I'll just type just before uploading, I'm just gonna print the blog. Okay, so console.log, I'll just type before upload. Okay, uploading, and let's print the blog. Okay, I think there is some issue here, and we have simply added this. Let's go to the backend URL. Okay, I think there is some issue with the backend URL. So whenever you add a post request here, you can see we are getting image URL, we are getting an image URL. Fine, everything is fine here. Okay, so I'll just type console.log Okay, let's try to print everything so that we can see things. Fine. I'm printing thing here also so that we can see the things, what's exact problem here also. Okay, so now let's go back, and here just before uploading I'm trying to call things. Okay, so just before uploading, now you can see image uploaded. Second image would be also uploaded like this. Hi Amisha, how are you? So before uploading, actually failed to upload the image. Okay, just before uploading you can see that the image became null. Okay, the image became null and everything is fine. I think okay, there is some issue with the image part. Okay, let me just fix the image part. So I'm gonna select this image now. I think it must work. Okay, or let's choose some other image. Let's choose this image. Okay, now let's try to upload this. Okay, because we added the functionality later on. Okay, so now let's wait. So it's actually trying to upload the image in paragraphs. Image URL is required in paragraphs. Okay, so let's see the paragraphs also. So you can see in paragraphs we are providing the image URL. Okay, guys, do one thing in every paragraph you won't be sending the image, right? So what you're gonna say is, in the backend part, in every paragraph you won't be sending the image. Okay, so instead of this, just make default as empty. That's it. Okay, that means image URL is not required in the paragraphs. Let's see. So you can see redirected false and things like that. Oh, so now we are unauthorized. Okay, actually let's reload this here first of all. So you can see now we are unauthorized. Let's authorize ourselves first. So HJ123. Now let's log in. You can see we are logged in. Now let's go to add blog. Let's try to give some title, some this. Let's try to give it some photo, and position is 1, some title, some description, and let's choose a file here. So I'll just choose a file here. Okay, now if I add this, I'll add one more paragraph. Okay, let's choose some other files. I'll just choose this one. Now if I add this, now let's try to submit it. So you can see user authenticated, image uploaded, image uploaded, and image uploaded. So before uploading, blog post created successfully. Okay guys, so now blog is created successfully, everything is fine. You can see everything is working fine. So what actually happens is, now this data would be saved into my database. Okay, so now I want to get this data. Okay, so for getting the data, we have created the get data API. So what we're going to do is, home page, in home page we're going to get the blog data. So I'll just refresh because the size got okay. So now you can see it's fine. So now we are gonna work on categories. First of all, let's get categories here. Okay, so in categories, for getting the categories, we have actually created the categories as a component, right? So let's go there. We're gonna talk about the category component now. So in categories, category card, category component, you can uh, go to this component, and here you can see, first of all, we are gonna define our categories type. Okay, we are gonna get all the categories which we have in our database. Now here I'll just say, instead of this, just comment this out, and we're gonna show it this way. Okay, just show it this way and import use state. Okay, now we are gonna get the categories from the backend. Okay, so for getting the categories, I'm just gonna create a function named as get categories. Inside this, I'm gonna get all the categories. So for that, I'm gonna call a fetch API. So this is the function which this is the API which I created for getting the categories, right? Now for response, first you converted it into JSON. Then if everything is fine, you're gonna get the response. If not fine, then you're gonna print the response, or you can give it as a toast error also, right? So in the response, you can simply say that, first of all, let's create a temporary category. Okay, and in this I'm gonna map my values. You can see I'm just mapping my value. I'm just saying that from backend I'm just sending the category text, okay, just a string. From backend, categories array would be received with a string of characters, okay. It's not like an object, okay. It would be just containing the category name with the key of category and the value, okay. So I'm just saying that just get the key and map it to this object, okay. I just created a new object, just said that the category would be this. That means health and wellness would come here. Similarly, health and wellness would come here. Similarly, I've just given it background color as black, but you can give it something else, and I've just changed it later on, so you won't need this, okay. But still I would make it white, okay. I'll just make it white, so that's fine. And I don't need the generate function now because I think that wasn't looking that good, so I just removed this. But if you want to use this linear gradient color generate one, so you can definitely use the generate method here, fine. But we don't need this, okay. So now we have this. What we're gonna do is we have the categories, right? We got the categories, and after we got the categories, we converted those. What we're gonna do is, hi Sagar, how are you? We are simply gonna set those categories to our categories hook. Just set those categories, okay. So let's call this get categories by simply calling a use effect, okay. So this would be called whenever this component loads, okay. For the first time, whenever the component loads, categories would be called, okay. So now we have the categories also. Now let's try to see those. So you can see that the design is also gone. We have to fix the design also, but now you know that everything is fine here, right? So let's try to change the style also. So first of all, you would see in category slider, we are sending the data to next page. So this is fine. Okay, this is fine. So I'll just format this. Okay, fine. Now after this, we have the category card. So let's talk about the category cards. And category card, you would be getting the data, right? So what I'm gonna do is whatever data you're gonna get is you're gonna get three things. Okay, block, name, bg color, and the path. Okay, so I'm just saying whatever data you're gonna get, you're just gonna show it in this page. So instead of this, I'm just gonna give it this style, and I've given it some class so that we're gonna style it separately. Okay, that's it. And I think rest everything is fine. You're sending the data in terms of category. Okay, now let's create a CSS file for category card. So category card.css, and I'm just providing some CSS here for the category card, very basic CSS. I'm just saying that the category card would be having this width, this border, this background color, and I want everything is in center. And I would just say that if I hover on this, the color changes. Okay, so let's see. So you can see it looks like this, but you have to import the categories. So you have to import the CSS here. So I'll just say that import what, category card CSS from this page. Okay, so now you would see that I have given it some styling. So if I just reload, you can see I've given it some styling. So you can see the styling looks good, and also it's scrollable. Okay, so now this is fine. Now we're gonna talk about this h1 tag which we have here. Okay, this h1 tag doesn't look good. Okay, so let's fix this. So what I'm gonna say is this h1 tag, we'll style that later on, but yeah, we have this inside the slider out container. Okay, so just remember this. Similarly, we are going to talk about the block card. So you can see right now we are not getting any blocks. Okay, we are not getting any blocks. So what we are going to do is we're going to go to the block container, so block cards, and here we have the block card, right? So we're going to get the block data in block slider first of all, then we're going to pass them to block cards. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So guys, here I'm gonna define the types for those. So you can see I've defined these types, and here I'm taking some extra things like you can see the things, right? You can see the things. I'm taking extra ID for it. Okay, ID is important because that's what I'm gonna pass to next pages. Okay, that means suppose if you click to a specific block, a new page will open up. I'll pass ID from that card to the new page. Okay, so the new page would have the blog ID. So that's why I passed this parameter. So if you want to get the blog data, you would call this ID in the new page, and then you'll get the blog data, then you'll show the complete blog data in that page. Okay, so this is important. And now we're gonna get the blog data. First of all, I'll just comment this out, and I'm gonna say instead of this we are having a hook. Okay, so here we'll create a function named as get 10 blocks. I don't know you take classes on weekends as well. Actually, yeah, there wasn't a plan to take a class today, but my goal is to complete the project. Okay, So anyways, we had to complete this. Right. So here I'm just gonna call a function for getting the 10 blocks. Okay, this was the function which I created for getting 10 blocks. It would give me 10 blocks, 10 latest blocks which I have created. Okay, so this was created 2-3 days ago in the last 2-3 classes, and whenever you get the response, you would just show it here. Okay, so you're just saying that just show the response, and here you have to show the toast also. Okay, so I'm just saying that if you're not getting something, you're just going to show the toast error, else you're just going to show the blocks inside the blocks hook. Okay, I'm just setting the blocks. Okay, that's how we got the data from backend. Now we have the data from backend. We are gonna say whenever this component loads, just call the use effect with this blank, and this would call the get 10 latest blocks. That's it. That's it. Okay. Right. So now after this, there is one more problem. In the block card, you have to define the types properly. Okay, so now let's go to the block card. And block card, you have to define the types properly. Okay, so you have to define the types properly. You can see the type must be properly defined. Now from this, you want to get what? You want to get these three things. Okay, title, image URL, and underscore ID. So if you click on that specific block card, you would pass that ID to some new page, and image URL for showing the image on that card, and title for showing the title. That's all. These three things are actually required. Now I'm just gonna style this accordingly. Just style that accordingly, and you have the data. Now I'm gonna create a specific CSS for that also. So what I'm gonna do is I just created the CSS for block card. I've created some CSS. Okay, so you can check the CSS later on. Yes, so now let's import the CSS in this page. Fine. So yes, now let's see how does it look. So if I just refresh, can see, yeah, smart guy. Okay, that's me. So now you can see we have all the blocks. Okay, I have created these blocks previously, and you can see I have also given some style. So you can work on the styles later on, but right now you can see it looks good. Okay, now one more thing, we have to style the h1 tag here. So in this, I have created the h1 tag, right? I'll just simply say that this would be a normal h1 tag, and I'll just give it a common class of slider route. Similarly, I gave the same class name for the categories also, same class name would be there, and a normal h1 tag. Now we're gonna style this. Okay, now we're gonna style this. So for styling it, I'm just gonna say that the slider route would be styled in, suppose, global. I'll just style it in global. Okay, let's style it here. Okay, so now let's go back and reload, and now you can see everything is fine. Okay, everything is fine. So you can see that the blogs are actually here. Now let's create a footer also, very basic footer. So let's go to the footer file. Let's create a footer file. Okay, inside this I'm gonna create a footer. So I'll just simply paste this. Okay, very basic footer. You can simply see I've just created, I don't need this, I've simply created a footer tag with the current year, with the company name, and anything. Okay, just type this on ChatGPT and you'll get the same. Okay, and then you will type footer dot css. Okay, so I'll just type the footer css also, and that's it. Okay, just gave some basic HTML CSS, and rest everything is fine. So if I just, okay, one more thing, in any page where you want to show footer, you have to add it like normal. Okay, so I would just go to page.tsx. Here instead you're gonna show the footer. Okay, close this. So now if I refresh, can see that the footer is here. Okay, so it's almost done. Now let's talk about this card. If I click on this, I want the user to be redirected to some page. Okay, so let's go to block card, can see that this is the block card, right? So what I did was, when someone clicks on this, you can either call router.push or you can call window.location. What window.location does is, suppose you click on some other card, so it would refresh the complete data. So it's always better in this cases when you want to refresh the complete data, so you want to always call the window.location. But you can also do the same with router push. It's a method, but I'm doing directly with window.location. Okay, right. So now let's talk about this. If you click on this card, what would happen? This URL would be called. We haven't created this URL, but this URL would be called. Okay, this is important. This is important. So now let's click on that. So if I click on this card, it would take me to this page. Okay, just remember this, because you can see I'm providing the ID. Now whatever page this URL will be redirected to, I'm just going to extract the ID from the URL and then I'll get the block data. That's the logic. Okay, that's what happens in everything. Like if you talk about Amazon or any website, that's what things happen. Okay, you just press the product card and then it would take you to some product page, and you see that at top you get some ID. With that ID you can perform, you get the product data. Okay, right. So now I'll create a page. You can see inside pages I have created a folder for blog pages, so I'll just create a folder for blog page. Okay, so in blog page, let's create a file, page.tsx. Okay, page.tsx. So I just created a TypeScript file and I'm gonna type RAFCE. Okay, and here I'm just gonna say that it's a blog page. Fine. And it would be importing these things. Okay, these things. Okay, first of all, use search params, because it would be used for getting the URL blog ID from the URL. By the way, how we are getting the blog ID, you can see this is a variable name, very important. Blog ID equals this. You just have to pass it this way very easily. Just pass it this way. Just provide the blog ID. We have extracted the blog ID from this card and we are just passing it to the next page. We are in the next page. We have to extract that ID by simply calling this blog ID variable. Just simply calling this blog ID variable. How can you do that? So for that you simply use search params. This is in Next.js. Okay, right. And similarly we have navbar, some CSS which we are gonna create for blog page. So I'll just type blog page dot css. Right. So come back here. First of all, we are gonna extract data. Okay, so I'll just say that my block, I'll import my block type also. So I'll give you a suggestion. Instead of copy pasting it again and again, you can create a separate file and store it and then call the type from there. But anyways, we have done this. Okay, so you can see I've just called the paragraph type. You can see I made some change in the paragraph. Also I called the ID. In the blog also I called the ID, and you can see in blog I called the created at, updated at. Similarly in paragraph I called the created at, position, different things. Okay, so you have these things now. Now what you're gonna do is simply, first of all, create this variable of search params, instance of search params. Then you're gonna find blog ID from the search params. You have the blog ID. Now you'll extract its value. Okay, you'll just extract its value. So now let's try to get this. Okay, so you can see we have this. If I just inspect console, you can see we have the ID. Okay, because of the search params. Okay, so now we have the ID. Now we have the ID. Very easy. Okay, so now we have the ID. Our goal is to just get the block data with this ID into this hook. Okay, so I'll just create a hook for block. I've just created a hook. It's of type block. Okay, it's an object. It would be containing these fields. Right now they are empty. Why have I made them empty? Because you have to initialize them as empty, because you don't get any error. At least they are empty. They are not null. Okay, they are not undefined. Okay, that's why I've defined them as empty. So one more thing, I'll define one more thing, that is the date for blog created at. Okay, it would be like I want to convert the normal date, millisecond date, into some good date like 17 September, like this. Okay, 17 September 2023. So for that I'm creating some separate hook. I'll store the date inside this new date. Okay, now I'm just gonna call a function for getting the block. So just get the block. Okay, and at the end you wanna call this, you just call this. Okay, so I'll just call this. And one more thing, like sometimes it would happen the page would stuck if you go from one blog page to another. Like if you have scrolled to bottom, then automatically if you want to scroll to top, whenever you go to a new page, you simply use window dot scroll to 00. Okay, that's it. Now here I'm gonna call the API to get that specific block by ID. Okay, that's what we created. So you can see I'm just calling the API to get the block by ID, and I'm simply getting it by get method. Headers are this, and everything is fine. If you wanna provide some authentication also, you can definitely include the credentials. Okay, but I don't need the credentials because I'm just getting the block. I'm not updating the block. Okay, so this is it. And now as a response, you're just gonna set your response. Just gonna set your response. If response is okay, if your response is okay, you're just gonna set your blocks into the blog hook. And one more thing, you are gonna format your date. Okay, so I'm gonna create a function for format date. Let's create that. Okay, so for creating that function, I'm just gonna say you'll be receiving date in some different format. So I'll just provide that format into the normal date format, convert that. First of all, it would be a string, so convert that into normal format. Then I'll get date out of it, that is the day. Similarly, I'd get month. Similarly, I would get year. And as a response, I'm gonna say 17 September 2023. That's what I want to return. That's it. Okay, so whatever date I have as created at in my blog object, I'm just converting it into the real date, that is 17 September 2023. Very basic. Okay, so this is the function. You can use it anywhere you like. Okay, these are all the fields which we wanted to create. Now everything is fine. You just want to call this function. Okay, just call this function. Now let's try to get the data. Okay, so you can see I'm just printing the data. So let's try to print this. If I just inspect, can see that I'm getting an object. You can see this is the complete block which I have. Okay, this is the complete block which I have. You can see the block which I clicked on is this is the complete block, right? Now let's try to just give it some UI. Okay, just give it some UI and then we are done. Okay, so this is the container. Inside this, first of all, I'm gonna show my navbar. Okay, then I'm gonna create another container, close this. Inside this, one more, that is footer. Okay, now one more thing which I want to show is the block slider. Okay, so you can see if I just refresh, you would be able to see the block slider. Okay, we got the block slider, so you can import it anywhere. Now at the top I want to show some block details. Okay, so I'll just say that we have the block page division. So I'll first of all create a container one. Okay, just create a container one. This would be containing my first few blog important details. Then I'm going to create another container for paragraphs. Okay, so for paragraphs I'll just say that we have some other container. Okay, so I'll just do that here. I'm just gonna close it and close. Okay, so what we're gonna do is for all the paragraphs I'm gonna call a container multiple times. So if paragraph is even, that means if index simply divides, index is suppose 0. Okay, index is suppose 0. So if I simply say that if I am having an even number, or if I'm not talking about 0 or 1. Okay, obviously 0 or 1 would be treated as even and odd in this case, but normally if I have number greater than 2, so if it divides completely, then the remainder would be 0. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that if the remainder is 0, I'm gonna have C2 left style. Okay, if remainder is not 0, I'm gonna give C2 right style. Okay, these are two stylings, so that's how you can give stylings. And I think this is it. Okay, just a minute, wrong. Okay, right, let's close this now. So you can see we have defined a container. It simply says that if the index is even, I'm just gonna have C2 left. If index is odd, I'm gonna have C2 right style. Okay, that's it. Now inside this I'm just gonna show my paragraph. You can see it's mapping all the paragraphs. If I talk about any specific paragraph, you're gonna have an image URL of the paragraph. you're gonna have title of that paragraph. Similarly, you're gonna have description of that paragraph. Okay, so we have mapped the paragraph. Okay, similarly, you can see the stylings also. I've just given them some class names, and similarly I have given this also some class name. Okay, this is for the paragraph. Similarly, we're gonna talk about the blog title and things like that. So I'm just gonna say, first of all, my date would be shown. Okay, whatever date I have set, okay, 17 September 2023. Then you're gonna get the title of the blog, category of the blog, then image of the blog, then description of the blog. Okay, and one more thing, guys, if sometimes paragraph dot img url exists, okay, dot length greater than 0, that means if it exists, then only you are gonna show this tag. Okay, that means sometimes the image url might not exist, so why are you showing this tag, right? So that's what we do here. And now in your page you can see we are able to get the details. Okay, so if I just reload it first, you can see I'm having the details. Now I'm gonna provide the styles, so you can see these are the classes. I'm gonna provide the same styles. Okay, so first of all, from top I'm gonna give some margin top. Okay, then I want everything in flex, justify content center, and everything is in column. So you can see I got the date, blog title, and blog uh, category. Then I got the blog image, and then the blog description. Okay, if I show you for some other blog which I created properly, you can see this is the blog which I created properly. So you can see the blog details, description, then there are the paragraphs. They are the paragraphs. Okay, similarly if I show you some other one, can see that this is the one which I created. Similarly you can see this is the one which I created. Okay, so you can see we have some blogs here. So now let's go to someone. Okay, so I'll just choose this one for styling so that you can see the styling. Now we have the blog page. Now inside the C1, I'm just gonna say that C1 would be again having everything in flex direction as column. Okay, right. So you can see what I did was I just simply asked everything to be in center. You can see everything is in center. Now we're gonna style the image as well as this text. Okay, you can see I'm gonna style these text also. Okay, so inside the C1 we had three texts that is created at title as well as things like this. Okay, so you can see we have category, title, and created at, right? Okay, so here you can see we simply styled those, and the categories here. And now we're going to talk about the image. Let's talk about the image. I'll just say that we have the blog img. Okay, we have the blog img. It would have the complete width and height, and I simply said that maximum height it could have is 500, and the aspect ratio would be 1. That means the overall whatever is the default size of the image would be maintained. Okay, and the object fit is contained. So you can see it looks like this, and it looks fine. Okay, so you can see we created the blog, and you can see now let's talk about the description. So for the description, I'm gonna give some style here. So you can see now the description is also styled like this. Okay, so now let's talk about the C2 left and C2 right. So what I'm going to say is C2 left would be having display flex, and everything would be like content 1, content 2. Okay, so division 1, division 2. But in C2 right, what I did was I would first show division 2 because of row reverse, then division 1. Okay, so it's reversed. C2 right is reversed, so I'll just show you it. So you can see C1 C1 C2 left is this, and C2 right is this. Okay, reversed. Okay, that's the benefit. Now I've just reversed them. Now I would simply say that each division inside this, that means the text part would be 50% and the image part would be 50%. Okay, so you can see the text part is 50, image part is 50, right? After that, I'm just gonna style the title and description and label there. Okay, so you can see the title and description are also styled. Okay, so guys, you can see this page is also completed. If I suppose go to some other page, okay, right now you can see it looks like this. Suppose if I go to this page, so you can see the image loads and it looks like this. Okay, definitely you will be adding some data. So like for example, I added data to this page, so you can see it looks like this. Okay, everything is fine, so it works. And also you can add loading animation. How you can add loading animation? Let's go here, and here we have the blog page, right? I'm gonna add a method here. Just gonna say const loading set loading equals use state and initially it would be false, right? Initially it would be false, right? So we created a variable, and now what I'm gonna do is when we are loading the data, we are just gonna say that set loading will be true. Okay, set loading will be true. Okay, and here once you get the data, you're just gonna say set loading will actually become false. Okay, copy and paste it, right? And now let's go to the add block page. Okay, so where was the add block page? Add block page, here we were showing the loading animation for this logo. Okay, so let's do the same for the block page. Okay, so I'm just gonna paste it here. Okay, then I'm gonna say that go back to page.tsx of add block, and here you would find this. Okay, so I'm just gonna say if loading is there, I'm gonna show this style. Okay, so if loading is there, I'm gonna show this. So let's do it. So I'll just say that if loading is there, I'm gonna show this animation. Okay, and one more thing, if loading is there, actually you can, guys, you can do one thing. Okay, you can do one thing. If loading is there, then you're gonna show this part. Okay, if loading is not there, you're gonna show this part. That's it. That's it. Fine. So you can see it's fine, right? So now let's go to our page, and now let's try to click here. So you can see it's fine. Okay, it's fine. So you can see it looks fine, and you can add a few more parameters also, like if loading is there, and like I'll add one more flag, and uh, blog dot id equals empty. Okay, if you don't have the id, that means you don't have the blog, right? Initially I think I have defined it as empty, so it won't show me anything. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's fine. So you can see it's fine, and now let's go to HJ, where so it's fine. You can see it's fine. And one more thing, I don't want to see this part, so we can say that agar if log image dot length is greater than 0, here also I'm gonna add a flag here. I'm just gonna say that if blog dot image url dot length is greater than 0, then only show the image tag. Okay, so it would be better. So now you only see the image tag when you have the image tag. Exactly. Okay, so let's go to some blocks. So if I go here, you can see it's like this. Okay, definitely there is some tweaks, you can change some stylings also, but yeah, it looks fine. So you can see now you're able to get the data, as well as we are able to set the data, and all the backend part is also done, all the front end part is also done. Okay, so one thing is remaining. You can see in home page, even if the user is not logged in, you can see we have login sign up, but still the user can visit the home page. So if you don't want this functionality, what you can do is just go to home page, page.tsx. Okay, here I'm gonna pass the check login function. Okay, that's it. I'm just gonna pass the check login function. What will it do? It would check login. First of all, it would check login. If the user is not logged in, it would send, actually don't need this, we don't need this. It would check the user if it's logged in or not, credentials included. You can see if the response is okay, then do nothing, but if response is not okay, then just redirect the user to login page. Okay, that means in home page, if you are in home page, you would see, if I try to visit the home page now, let's see what happens. So you can see automatically I'm sent to the sign in page. Okay, so that's the benefit. So now if I have to log in, I have to log in. Okay, so HJ123, so this is a flag which I have added. So you can see now everything is fine. Okay, but if I click on logout, as soon as I log out, if I try to visit home page, you can see, okay, I think guys we have to check the logout functionality also. Okay, there is some problem with the logout part. I think for clearing the cookie, Let's see what's the problem in logout part. We have the navbar, right? So in navbar we were using the logout part. So handle logout, I didn't complete the handle logout. Okay, so I think for deleting the cookie there is some different method. Let me just check. Okay, JS method to delete cookies. I think mhm, clearing all cookies with JavaScript. I think this can be actually done, but I'm not really sure. Okay, anyways, I'll just fix the logout part later on and I'll upload the source code. It's a very basic thing, but right now you can see everything is working exactly fine. Okay, so we have the login part as well as the register part. We created the register API, we created the login API. If you log in, if you log in, you would see that we are able to log in, right? And now after that you can see that we have different things. Okay, and these are all the categories. Right now I haven't created specific pages for categories. Like if you click this, it would open a specific page, and one more thing is not created is the search page. So you can work on this on your own. Since we don't have that much time, that's why I'm not able to work on that. But anyways, you can work that on your own because we created API. You just have to implement the front end part. And if I update anything on this project, then definitely I'll provide that. Okay, now one more thing, one more important thing. Right now you can see we have this. So instead of this, I'm gonna provide my blogs. Okay, let's do that. So in block card, I was actually getting the block data. Okay, so I'll be calling the same function for home slider, passing the same function for the home slider. Okay, so I'll just call use state here. I'll just call use effect here. One more thing, that is toast. I'm just gonna call toast here. Fine. And then I'm gonna call the blog type here. Okay, so you have to pass the blog type also. Right, so I've just passed the blog type. So now what you have to do is, instead of this, I'll just say blogs, actually blogs dot, if the blog's length is zero greater than zero, suppose, so blogs dot map. And inside this, I'm just gonna, let's see what we did there. Okay, so guys, here you can see we simply created a map. Okay, so I'm just gonna do exactly same here. Okay, so I'll just say that blocks.map. Okay, and close this, and close this, and close this. Okay, just map it this way. Now inside this, I'm just gonna provide swiper slide. Okay, swiper slide. Inside this, I'm gonna provide my image URL. Okay, so my image URL is actually blog dot image. Okay, and the problem, okay, image URL. Okay, fine. So now let's see how does it look. So you can see invalid host name. Okay, I think it's not allowing me to show the cloudinary images. For that, what you can do is you have to go to the config file. Okay, so just go to the config file, just one thing, next config.js. Here you have to add the config, very important. Okay, just make the config this way, right? That's it, that's it, right? So now let's save this. Now let's save this. If I just reload, I think I have to restart. Yes, I think I have to restart. npm runtime. Okay, I have to restart, then it will work. Okay, refresh, and now you would see that we have the images here. Definitely there are some styling issues, so styling can be done later on, but yeah, it looks fine. So you can see styling can be done later on, but you can see we're able to get the blocks here also. Okay, so that's up to you. If you want to show slider like this, if you want to modify the images, like right now we are just stretching the image to completely. Okay, so that's how you're gonna work on this, and this is fine. Okay, so guys, I hope you understood this project, and there is definitely a lot to do in this project. But since this was the live last session, so we had to finish at least this much. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll upload the complete source code on GitHub. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the live chat. I'll just do one thing. Okay, just a minute. Just type git add dot git commit m, and I'll just say day6. Okay, and git push. Right, so guys, I have pushed the complete source code, you can check out, and similarly I'll push the backend also. So git add dot, too much of work here, git commit m day6, and then I'll push the complete source code. So git push. Right, so guys, I have completed the video, and the source code has also been pushed. Where you can get the source code, you can simply go to my GitHub profile. What you have to do is you can simply search for github.com/VIRAJJ014. This is my GitHub profile. You can simply visit my profile, and don't forget to follow me here. Here you would get block 3x backend, block 3x frontend. You can just view this code, and if you wanna mark this as a start, definitely you can. If you don't find these repositories in future, you can simply search the name here. You would find those repositories. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. From tomorrow, we are gonna start with a new project. That is, I think, the movie project. It's scheduled in the Geeks for Geeks development channel. You can check out that. Okay, so that's it for today. I will see you in the next one. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.